Hello, dear students. How are you? Today we are going to discuss the differences between poisonous and non poisonous snakes. Me, K. Subhashini, Assistant Professor of Zoology, MVS Arts and Science College, Mehboob Nagar. Today we are going to look about the poisonous and non poisonous snakes and how to identify them and what are the main differences. Today's objectives are identifying the examples for poisonous, non-poisonous snakes and what are the identification features for identifying poisonous and non-poisonous snakes, study of different types of snakes, mainly poisonous, cobra, viper, krait, rat snake, python, etc. And what is the poison apparatus, how it bites, and how the venom works, and are there any uses for the venom. Today we are going to learn about all these objectives. And what is the scientific position in the classification? They belong to phylum Chordata, subphylum Vertebrata, and class Reptilia, order Squamata. Do you know any poisonous snakes? Can you name some? At the same time, do you know any non-poisonous snakes? Can you remember some of the names? Yes, you are right. Poisonous snakes, cobra, krait, pit viper, rattlesnakes, Wessel's viper, coral snakes, sea snakes, etc. Whereas non-poisonous are python, rat snake, sand boas, like. Then, why the snakes bite the people? Mainly, the snakes bite the people when they feel unsafe, when they are disturbed. Normally, they will not bite human beings, but when they feel unsafe and they are disturbed, they'll try to bite you. Actually, this biting mechanism helps the snakes for the purpose of capturing the prey. But they bite people when they are unsafe or chased or something happened disturbingly to them. But non-poisonous snakes bite is not fatal. Poisonous snakes bite is fatal, but you should approach the hospital immediately. But normally, when non-poisonous snakes bite also occurs to the people, they'll die. Why? What is the reason? People they die because of the fear they have, not for the poison they are having. Actually, the poison of the snake takes some hours to show its effect on a human body, but the person dies because of the fear that he is having, that snake has bitten him. So, all should know what are the differences between a poisonous snake and a non-poisonous snake, how you should identify the bite of a poisonous and non-poisonous snake, and where to approach, how to cure. At least minimum first aid knowledge should be there for each and everybody. Thereby, they can protect their lives against these poisonous snake bites. How to differentiate between poisonous snakes and non-poisonous snakes? Morphologically, when you see a snake, you can observe and you can identify based on some features. What are they? Number one, tail. If the tail is pointed, cylindrical, it may be a poisonous snake. mainly a land snake. If it is a compressed tail and found in the waters, it may be a marine or water poisonous snakes. Another important feature is observing the ventral scales. If the ventral scales are broad, covering the entire width of the belly like this, in this snake, you can observe the ventral belly scales. Here you can see they are broad, covering the entire width of the belly. You can identify that snake as a poisonous one. If the belly is covered with small scales like this, or only at narrow level, not covering the entire belly, you can term them as non-poisonous snakes. Only the belly, if the belly scales are covering the entire belly region, then you can identify them as poisonous snakes. Then you observe the head. Then if you find small scales on the head, like this, they are vipers. Of course, the small scales are present, but if a pit is found here, that is known as L'Oreal pit. It is a pit viper. Then, if the shields are present on the head, small scales are not present here, it is covered by shields, then it may be a poisonous snake or a non-poisonous snake. To observe, you have to go further and observe other characters. Then you have to observe the third supralabial shield. If it is touching the eye and nose, like in this snake, if it is touching the eye as well as the nose, it is a poisonous snake. Here you see that the third supralabial is not touching the eye and nose, hence it is a non-poisonous snake. If the snake is with a hood, it is 100% it is a poisonous snake. Normally these coral snakes are not found in our Telangana, but they are neck is without hood, but it is a poisonous snake. And when you observe the vertebrals, here, what are vertebrals? The scales on the middle of the back are vertebrals. If they are enlarged and hexagonal, it is a poisonous snake. And in a crate, fourth infralabial is the largest scale. So these are the characteristics to identify a poisonous snake. In summary, you can draw a tabular column like this. Identification of non-poisonous or poisonous snakes. The first feature is you have to identify the tail, whether it is pointed or flat. Flat, it is poisonous. If it is cylindrical and pointed, you have to go for further observations. Then you observe small belly scales and narrow belly scales. They are non-poisonous, but when they are broad and covering the entire belly region, you can name them as poisonous snakes. And then the next feature is observing the small scales on head. Pit viper, it is having a pit that is known as L'Oreal pit. And here you can see large shields, they may be poisonous or non-poisonous. For that further observation you have to go to see third supralabial shield. If it is touching the eye and nostril, it is a cobra, it is poisonous. And if the vertebral scales are hexagonal, it is a poisonous snake. And infralabials are large, it is also a poisonous snake. Like this, you can identify the snakes as poisonous and non-poisonous, and identification of these poisonous and non-poisonous snakes and particular name of the snake is very important, so that the person can be treated with a particular antivenom. If we know a particular snake which has bitten, then the doctors will give the particular antivenom for that snake bite, which can save the person very easily. If the person doesn't know which snake has bitten, then he will be given polyvenom. But if you know the snake variety, then it will give you 100% results and you will be saved from the snake bite. Let us learn some poisonous snakes which are found in our Telangana region. First one is krait or Bangarus. You know, this is commonly known as Katlapamu, and it is very, very dangerous. And in our region, our Mahbubnagar area, most of the people die with the snake bites happening from these kraits. They have elongated cylindrical body, the scales are smooth, head is not differentiated from the body, it is covered with shields, causes more deaths when compared to other snakes, and lives in crevices of wall. When we observe the backbone, it is ridged, it is covered with hexagonal enlarged scales, ventral surface is white, third and fourth supralabials are touching the eye, it is carnivorous, rats, lizards, and it feeds on rats and lizards and small snakes. Its venom is neurotoxic, it is oviparous. The population of these kraits is high in Telangana when compared to other snakes. So one must be always careful when you are near the habitat of these kraits. The next snake is cobra or naza, which is also common in our area. It is normally found in India, Africa, China, Australia, New Guinea and Egypt. The body color, normally all might have seen this snake. The color of the snake is brown to blackish and it may range up to 2 meters in length. It is diurnal, it is shy, it lives in holes under a stone or mud wall. It feeds on lizards, frogs, rats and other snakes. Neck is dilatable, cervical ribs are elongated. Main character is presence of hood, expansion of neck and cervical ribs. This hood is formed because of the expansion of neck and cervical ribs. Whenever this snake gets frightened or whenever it has to frighten others, it opens its hood and makes hissing sound. If we observe the hood, if it is binocillate or mark of spectacles, this is found in Maharashtra and Telangana. If it is monocillate, single mark surrounded by ellipse, it is present in Bengal and other regions. If the hood is not having any mark monocellate or bicellate, that is not having any spectacle or other marks. Those type of Nasa is called as non-cellate, and they live in Rajasthan and Gujarat and some parts of Madhya Pradesh. In these Nasa cobras, third supralabial touches the eye and nose. Fangs are very small and non-movable. Venom is neurotoxic. This is the world's largest poisonous snake, causing more deaths. And it is neurotoxic venom. It affects on the neurons and thereby causing respiratory paralysis, and quick death happens. And it is viviparous. It lays eggs. See here how the snake bites. When it is annoyed or disturbed, it raises its body, it raises its hood, and suddenly it makes a strike on the object. Here you can see the poison gland here, and from this poison gland the venom is secreted into the fangs. These are the fangs, and it is injected through these fangs into the enemy's body. Then let us study about vipers. Vipers are also common snakes found in India and are in Telangana. They are also found in Burma, Sri Lanka, Europe, Africa. They are found in rock and bushy regions. Feeds on mice, rats, lizards and birds. There are two types, pitless vipers and pit vipers. Pitless vipers are called as Russell's viper. Pit vipers are called as Himalayan vipers. Normally in our region, Russell's viper or pitless vipers are present. You can found some diamond shapes on the vertical parts and the ventral part of the snake. And when you observe the color, it is pale brown, the tail is short, nocturnal, and it is also viviparous. Its head is large, flat, and small scale. It is covered by small scales. This is a characteristic feature that we have already learned. These scales are keeled. Sensor pit is present between the eye and nostril in pit vipers, that is known as L'Oreal pit. And these vipers have long movable fangs. They remain coiled when undisturbed, but when they are disturbed, the body swells and strikes. Immediately it pushes its fangs and injects venom into the enemy, and it attacks in this manner. Let us see some non-poisonous snakes also. Some of the main non-poisonous snakes, that is rat snake. It's some of the people call it as Daman or Zaminis. And it is found in India, Pakistan, Sri Lanka and Afghanistan. Body is elongated, greenish and greenish brown, ventrally pale yellow. Eyes are large, rounded. They have pupil. Trunk, when we observe the trunk, it is covered by smooth scales, pattern of crossbars, and it has sharp ridges along the backbone. Tail is long, resembling a cobra. 2 rows of scales are present in ventral region. They are active, aggressive, untamable, and often attack on face. They feed on rats, and these snakes are friends of farmers. It is viviparous. Normally these type of rat snakes are present more in number than our poisonous snakes, but the farmers, they will mistook these snakes as a poisonous snake, and they will try to kill these snakes, and when a bite occurs they are afraid of these snakes, and they'll approach some snake charmers and other people. And when we educate them with this type of knowledge, the farmers or some other village people or the people living near these snakes, they'll identify that the snake bite is happened from a poisonous snake or a non-poisonous snake, and they will act accordingly. And then python, ajgar, it is also found in India, Indochina area, Burma and Sri Lanka and other regions. The body is large, 8 to 10 meters it weighs, and it weighs up to maximum 125 kilos or more, and brown in color, rhomboid shaped marks are present. It is dark gray edged spots are there. It is carnivorous. It squeezes the reptiles, birds, mammals and all, and they just swallow its prey. And it is oviparous. In ventral region, greenish color is present with yellow brown spots. Head is distinct from neck and small scales are present. Rudimentary appendages are seen, which are the specific characteristic features for these pythons. Here in these pythons you can see rudimentary appendages, where other snakes you can't observe them, and these are the characteristics of python. Now let us study about poison apparatus in snakes. Where is this poisonous apparatus is present? It is present on the roof of anterior part of upper jaw. In this poison apparatus, a pair of poison glands are present, poison duct is present, a pair of fangs are present, and muscles, of course, for the functioning of this poison gland and other poison ducts, muscles are present. Here in this poison gland, two sac-like glands either side of the upper jaw are present, and they are mainly the modified parotid glands. They are encapsulated with fibrous connective tissue. They are covered with constrictor muscles. They are fan-shaped and also called as temporal muscles. Whenever they squeeze, the poison will be released into the poison duct. And this poison duct is a connecting link between the poison gland and the fang. When the poison is released from the poison gland through these poison ducts, that reaches the fangs. The fang is a sharply pointed specialized teeth which are present, which are like this, like a small injection. They are attached to the maxillary bones. They are also called as enlarged maxillary teeth. They are long, curved, very sharp and pointed. They act as a hypodermic needle for the purpose of injection of poison. See, this is the mouth of a poisonous snake, showing all the parts. See, this is a fang. This is a fang. In this region, the poisonous gland is located. Whenever the snake is frightened, it opens mouth like this and it injects these hypodermic needles or fangs into the prey or enemy's body, and it injects the venom into the body. How this venom works? It is the secretion from poison gland and it is stored in the gland, and it has evolved for capturing the prey and killing and for digestion purpose. When you see that venom, it is clear and sticky, faint yellow to greenish in color. It is tasteless, odorless, and it is a little bit acidic. The complex mixture of enzyme and toxins it is having. It can be dried and stored. It is dissolved in water, glycerin, or salt solution. And some there are some commercial uses of this venom also. What are those commercial uses of venom? Actually, this venom is used in some medical purposes. It is useful for creating clotting protein when excessive bleeding of blood happens, and in heart attacks, hearts or heart strokes, wherever some blocks are there in the body, this venom acts as clearing agent and it breaks the blood clots. And in neurological diseases like Parkinson, Alzheimer's disease, this venom is given to the patients of Alzheimer's and Parkinson's to cure these diseases, and it is given in small quantities. In cancer treatment also, for breast cancer, this venom is used, and anti-aging creams and anti-wrinkle creams, it is used in small ppm. What are the enzymes present in this venom? Those are protease, phospholipase, cholinesterase, hyaluronidase, nuclease. So what is this protease? It is like trypsin, acts as like trypsin and it kills cells. It is proteolytic, ceases heartbeat and blood clotting. So this protease works like that. And phospholipase, that enzyme, this enzyme that transfers the phospholipid into molecule into the lysophospholipid, ruptures the cell membranes, thereby causing the damage to the cells and thereby death. Cholinesterase, this works as hydrolysis of cholinergic neurotransmitters. Then hyaluronidase prevents entry of liquids into the cell, and the nucleus degrades the RNA and DNA. So thereby, by this action of these venoms, the person dies. Today what we have learned? What we have learned today? The schematic position of snakes and some of the names of we have recollected. Some of the names are poisonous and non-poisonous snakes, and what is the reason behind a snake bite, and what are the main differences that you can make a base for the detection of poisonous and non-poisonous snakes. And we have recollected some of the names of poisonous snakes and non-poisonous snakes, and we have made a detailed study of Craig's systematic study of the characteristics of a cobra, krait, vipers, and some of the non-poisonous snakes like python and rat snake. And today we have also learned about poison apparatus, poison gland, and what is poison, how it acts, are there any commercial benefits with this venom. Do you know? And some of the people in Thailand, their profession is collecting venom from these poisonous snakes. And what are the enzymes present in the venom? So like this, today we have learnt the differences between poisonous and non-poisonous snakes. Hope you enjoyed the session. Thank you.